In this lesson, we will use crayon to create our own unique and beautiful tie-dye burst. Maybe you have a tie-dye shirt at home. I absolutely have a tie-dye shirt at my house. You can even make them. Maybe you've made tie-dye on your own before. Tie-dye can end up being super, super colorful. So our focus is by creating our own tie-dye burst using lots of color. Let's get started. You will need crayons, a square piece of paper, and a messy mat for this activity. The first thing you're going to do is pick out a few colors you think might look really nice together in your tie-dye. I chose 4 for my design, but you can pick more than that. Maybe you want to make a few different designs. You don't have to just make one, but you can make multiple. The first thing I'm going to do is make a little dot in the center of my square piece of paper. You really want to make sure that your paper is square. That means if you have a rectangular piece of paper, you can just cut off the side to try to make it more square. That's going to make it much easier for you to do your tie-dye burst. I started with purple and then I added blue. Now I moved on to green. As you can see, I am scribbling, making a really tight zigzag line with my crayons going back and forth, and you can see as I make my way around my burst, I'm actually turning my mat and my art piece so I can make that nice, even, tight zigzag line all the way around. I am having my colors touch, so you can actually see that some of my purple is actually going onto my orange. We want those colors to touch. It's okay if they go into each other a little bit. Alrighty, we don't want our purple to be completely on top of our orange so we can't see it, but you want it to be touching a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to move on to my blue. If you want to work in a pattern, you can. If you do not want to work in a pattern, you don't have to. If you want to use all different colors, you can do that as well. The biggest suggestion I have is to practice making these tight zigzag lines all the way around. My lines are always working their way out. So I started from the inside and now I'm working my way to the outside of my page. This is going to take you quite a bit of time. My paper is pretty small. This doesn't have to be super duper big, but it's going to take you quite a bit of time to make it look really nice. I'm continuing to make my way around, slowly blending that green into my blue a little bit and turning my page as I go. Now this video is fast forwarded, so it's actually moving a lot quicker than I normally would be, so take your time. This is going to take you quite a bit of time. So you can see actually my orange is kind of coming off the page. I am kind of scribbling onto my art mat a little bit, that zigzag line, so I don't get it on the table. So this is where working on top of your mat, your messy mat, your art mat, whatever you like to call it, is really helpful. So then you're not going to get crayon on your table. Now you can see that I only have a little tiny, almost triangle space on the outside left. When you're done with your burst, maybe you want to paint over it and create a crayon resist. You can use watercolors. Watercolors work best for a crayon resist. So maybe you want to add that. Maybe you want to do a few. Maybe you want to make a burst in a heart. Maybe you want to make a burst in a triangle. There's lots of different ways that you can do this, but I know that it's going to turn out so interesting and so beautiful. I hope you have an amazing time doing this project. And check and make sure every little space is filled in. These are just some additional different tie-dye patterns you might want to try. Maybe you want to work your way across the page. Maybe you want to do a square, maybe a heart, maybe a star. Think about different colors you might want to use. If you want to make 5 of these, go for it. I want to see what beautiful tie-dye burst you come up with.